Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Boots on the Ground. The class for today is going to be Lobby Like You Mean It. You're going to learn how to talk to your legislators through in-person visits, calls, faxes, and emails. So let's get started. Next slide, please. We're going to start with our mission statement. Boots on the Ground was created to bring all members of the leather, fetish, and kink communities together to fight against the tyranny and oppression taking over the United States. We will fight so that we retain the inalienable rights given to us by the U.S. Constitution. We will educate ourselves to know how our democracy works. We will make calls, attend commission meetings, protest, march, create connection, and build community. Democracy will not die while we watch. We will fight, and we will win. Next slide. We're going to do a land acknowledgement. I know that this is just performative, but I feel it is important. I always want to point out the fact that we reside on stolen land. Boots on the Ground recognizes that we reside on lands once inhabited and held sacred by the First Peoples. For nearly 10,000 years, indigenous groups lived in South Florida. The Tequesta, Miccosukee, Seminole, Muskogee, and Taino peoples once lived in what we call Broward County. These distinct indigenous communities were among many others in South Florida considered ancestors of the present-day federally recognized Seminole Tribe of Florida and Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. I encourage all to learn about the significance of the early inhabitants. With the collective knowledge of the past, we are inspired to teach, to live, and to support a future that empowers all individuals. Next slide, please. All right, so if you do not want to be tied to the 24/7 hour news cycle, sign up for our newsletter, Lace Up and Learn. I give you the news of the week in short, punchy paragraphs. You can be informed without overwhelming yourself. Let me read all that news and you get it in bite-sized bits. If you want, go to botgfl.com and sign up under our newsletters tab. Or you can do the QR code that's on the screen and sign up through there. I send it out every Sunday morning, and today was our 40th email that we sent out. So we've been doing this almost a year. Please, it's a great resource. All right, next slide, please. All right, Lobby Like You Mean It. Before we get started with the class, I do want to give thanks to the people that make this happen. It's not just me. First, I'd like to thank Will and Sylvie here in the Eagle doing the Zoom for me. I would like to thank Dan, who is on the Infinity account, for running the Zoom. Thanks to Big John for hosting our website. Thanks for Infinity Angel for hosting the Zoom. And as always, I would like to thank Chuck and Greg of the Eagle for letting us have the space to do the classes here and making sure we're set up. So thank you all. Now let's get into it. Lobby like you mean that. What does that mean? Let's go to the next slide and find out. All right, so why does this matter? What is so important about talking to our politicians and making our voice heard? Well, let me tell you. We are talking about the most powerful tool in your arsenal. It is direct contact with the legislatures and the people who make the laws that affect our lives, our families, and our communities. Lobbying is not simply the act of lobbying is simply the act of persuading decision makers to support or oppose specific legislation or policies. If you don't like a law that's up for review by your legislatures, Go and talk about it. Call them, email them, go see them in person. You can do that. It's your right. You only need to show up. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know facts and figures to beat the band. You have to show up as a voting constituent. That is power, and you will be listened to and noted. Next slide, please. Now, my story started in the 90s. After graduate school, I went to work with my dad, who was a shopping center developer. He taught me how to talk to politicians in our home district. And then every year in Tallahassee, when the legislature was in session, we would go up to Tallahassee with the International Council of Shopping Centers. And I sat on that governmental affairs committee for 10 years and lobbied for changes affecting real property owners in the state of Florida. As I got older, I would lobby more infrequently, but in 2022, when Don't Say Gay passed in Florida, I started getting very politically active again because I knew what that meant. And I started going to town halls again and going to commission meetings and school board meetings, going to Tallahassee to lobby. I found groups like Equality Florida and Save LGBT that I could lobby with. And I made my voice heard by making calls with the 5-call apps, using the ResistBot app, and using the ACLU's petition drives. So we're going to talk about all those things tonight. Now, nowadays, I try to do at least one action a week, be it a call, an email, a petition. I try to at least do that. You don't have to do this every day. I'm not asking you to put your life on hold. One thing a week to make a difference. How many people, show of hands on Zoom and in the Eagle, how many people have ever talked directly to a politician? Yeah, so all of us here in the Eagle, and I'm sure we've got some people on Zoom as well that have talked to their politicians. But tonight, we are going to see that number double because I want to see you guys have the skills you need to be able to talk to your politicians. All right, next slide, please, Dan. All right, we are going to start with easy daily actions. Like I said, you don't have to do this every day, but you could if you felt the need. These are the lowest barrier, highest impact tools that you can use. The first one, phone calls. I want everybody that can take your phone out, go to your app store, and download 5Calls. It's that little blue box with the 5 stars in it. Download that. 5Calls is wonderful. What it does is you put in some information like your address. It tells you exactly who your U.S. senators and your representative is. Then it gives you scripts for all the progressive issues of the day. So let's say you want to call Senator Rick Scott, who's one of my senators, woohoo, and you want to talk about the SAVE Act, which is what is going to be our standard piece of legislation throughout this class. We're going to be talking about the SAVE Act. So we're going to go to the 5Calls app. We're going to look for this. We're going to put in our information. We're going to look for the SAVE Act script, and then we're going to go and read it. And then we're going to call straight from the app. It's going to connect us right to Senator Scott. And I'm going to leave a message because very rarely will you get real people. And I'm going to either read the script or read my own of what I want to get across. You can do either. If you are unsure of what to say, the script is a great way to get your point made. The other good thing about 5Calls, if it's a bigger issue that's going to need leadership involved, like Chuck Schumer or Cory Booker, it will also put you in touch with those leaders for those kinds of actions. It literally, you can call both your senators and your representative in less than 5 minutes. So it is literally a 5-minute action, and it makes a big impact because even though you're talking and leaving a message, a staff has to go through and mark every call and what the issue was and how they wanted the senator or rep to vote. And that is power, because you are making your voice directly heard. All right, next slide, please. Another daily action, emails and faxes. So you can go to congress.gov/member/find-your-member. That will give you all the contact information for your senators and representatives in the U.S. Congress. You can go to your state one to find your state legislatures. One of the things to remember is that if you use 5 calls, you don't need to look up that information. It's already there. However, if you want to if you're going to lobby them or things like that, this is a great place to find the information you need to contact them to set up a meeting. Another great resource is the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. If you go to aclu.org/action, click on the orange subscribe button that's in the bottom left-hand corner. It is a hover button, so it kind of disappears sometimes. That you can subscribe to their email list and to their texting list. I do both because some things I'll do through email, but if there's a really big action that's time sensitive, the ACLU does do text messages. It'll take you directly to their page to send letters that need to be sent to the appropriate people on a hot button issue, like the SAVE Act. So sign up for the ACLU and take those actions. It literally takes a minute and a half to send a letter through this. Once you have all your information in there, you don't have to put it in again. All you have to do is click send letter. Very simple. The other thing I want to talk to you about in terms of sending emails and faxes is ResistBot. A way you sign up for ResistBot, it is a text messaging bot. All you have to do is go open a text message, text 50409, and text the word resist. That will sign you up. It'll ask you some questions like your zip code or your address. Feel free to add it. Then it will tell you different petitions or letters that you want to send, or letters that you want to send. I don't believe they do petitions. They do letters. So it'll show up, oppose the SAVE Act. Do you want to read it? Do you want to sign it? Or do you want to skip it? And then, hold on one sec. And then when you get to that point, you can either read it and then sign it, or just sign it, and it'll immediately send it to your senators and your rep. Yes, Will?
We have a question. One of the participants wants to know, after the stream, how can they have access to the slides?
After this class, if you want access to my notes or these slides, it will be on my website, botgfl.com, under the classes section. Every class I have ever taught has the YouTube link. It has a little thing that says notes and PowerPoint presentation. It's a link to a Google Drive, and then it has a description of the class. So you can go and look at every single class and get these notes and these slides directly. I think I've already uploaded these to the Google Drive, but I haven't put it on the website yet because we need the video. So thank you for the class, or for the ask, not the class. We're in the class. All right, so the 2 things to do for emails and faxes. ResistBot. They give you coins for signing certain or sending certain letters. When you get coins, you can send faxes. People are like, faxes? Who still uses faxes? Politicians do. And a fax is a piece of paper. It carries a little more weight. So once you get some coins, you can buy them, of course, but I just get them for free when I sign certain actions. Once you get coins, send a fax for an issue you really care about. It takes 10 coins, and I think I have like 160 coins right now. So I use that when I really care about an issue. It's a good way to get your point across, and no cost to you. All righty, next slide, please. All right, now we're going to talk about, we've talked about what we can do from our couch. We can call, we can email, we can text, we can fax. Now let's talk about how we're going to go talk to those politicians in person. The first thing you want to do, sign up for your representatives and your senators' email lists. These are great resources because they tell you what that person is doing in Congress. And I even read Rick Scott's. I don't want to, but I do. And it tells you if they're going to hold a town hall. Now, a lot of Republican legislators stopped holding town halls because they were getting absolutely decimated at them. They were getting yelled at, screamed at. People were being dragged out for peacefully protesting. And so they stopped holding those town halls right quick. However, you can hold an empty chair town hall where you bring your community together and somebody moderates it so that the voices of the community can be heard. And you know what? Those politicians wishing to unseat that rep, they're going to be there because they want to hear. And I bet you they're going to have some things to say. So you can do a town hall without your senator or rep. Next, go to your local school board, city or county commission meetings. I live in unincorporated Palm Beach County. I don't live in the city of Boca Raton. So I go to county commission meetings rather than city because I can't vote in city elections. But did you see that Boca flipped blue after 30 years by 4 votes? I mean, ridiculous. We are going to kill them come midterms in November. Anyway, yes, I was very proud of Boca. So I go to county commission meetings. I also go to school board meetings. There's a lot that happens at school board meetings that we need to be aware of. They totally got rid of DEI. There were like 100 people showed up to talk about not doing that. They still did it, but we made our voices heard. We started building coalitions. The NAACP was there, Equality Florida, SOS, there were a few other organizations, and we were all building a coalition so that when we need to, we can go back and try to, when the regime changed, and get that DEI put back in our school systems where it should be. If you want to speak at one of these meetings, that is your right as a citizen. That is your right. You can do it one of 2 ways. Number one, you can call in advance, usually on a city, county, a state. They have a number where you can call and put your name in to speak on a certain agenda item. The agendas will also be online. A lot of times when I am lobbying on a certain issue, I have Equality Florida is usually, or Save LGBT is usually the ones bringing it to my attention. So they're going to give me the lowdown on what's going on. If not, it's a very simple thing to research what's going on. I mean, we've got the internet, people. You can do a little bit of work for issues that are important to you. So call to sign up to speak, or when you get to the meeting, you can fill out a comment card. If you're not sure you want to speak till the last minute, that's okay. They're going to have comment cards. You fill them out, you give them to the people before the meeting, and then you will be called. I like to sign up early because if it's a real hot button issue and there's a lot of people there to speak, you may be there till 10, 11 at night because they hear everybody. So when you sign up early, you get to speak early. You may not see how the issue voted at the end, but you can read about that the next day. The point is making yourself heard. Making yourself heard in local government. It's very important. We're not just talking state and federal. Your local government is where a lot of the rules and laws that are made get made. Those affect you the most. So next slide, please. All right, now we are going to talk about how to lobby if you're going to your state capital or you're going to DC to lobby. Like I said before, I tend to go with groups. I went with International Council of Shopping Centers, I went with Equality Florida, and I went with Save LGBT. I love it because the logistics I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry that I'm not going to get an appointment, or I have to talk. Am I talking to the right person about this issue? Is this a committee member that I need to talk about? When you go with a group, they will set up the appointments. They will give you fact sheets. They will train you how to lobby. They will train you how to speak to politicians. So it's great because you are basically guided, and a lot of them will send a more experienced person with people that are less experienced so that they can help you get your voice heard effectively. Now, the key steps for effective lobbying: identify your goal, the specific bill or the policy that you are wanting to talk about. It's good to have the bill numbers for the House and Senate version. A lot of things are tracked by these bill numbers. Identify the decision makers. This is especially true from committee members. So for a big bill like the SAVE Act, you want to go to the committee members as well as your own people, because this is going to be heard back and forth in committee. And those committee members are going to be the ones deciding whether it's going to go forward for a vote. So see who those committee members, those key decision makers are on your issue. Prepare a one-page fact sheet and your personal story. Now, again, when you go with a group, they give you fact sheets, so you can leave them with your politician. Your personal story. Your story and why a bill or a law affects you personally is one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal. We are going to talk about how to craft our personal stories in just a little bit. All right. Now, the next thing, if you're not lobbying with the group, you want to make contact. You're going to email or you're going to phone your representative staff. Okay? And you're going to say, I'm going to be in Tallahassee on February 2nd. I would like time to meet with my representative. Can you schedule me 10 minutes? And they will fit you into the schedule. Now, be aware that sometimes things get moved around, so you got to be a little flexible. Don't schedule things back to back. Leave enough room, because most legislatures are very difficult to get around. There's a lot going on, and a lot of people, a lot of offices, a lot of committee rooms. So you want to leave yourselves time so you can orient yourself to the next place you have to be. All right, when you get your meeting and you are there, you're going to state immediately, I am a constituent and a voter from Boca Raton, Florida, in Palm Beach County. You're going to make a clear ask. You do not want to leave without saying, will you support this bill, or will you vote against this bill? Will you stand with us, is what you're asking. Be courteous. And I'm going to repeat this multiple times in different ways. Treat the staff like gold. The staff are the gatekeepers. They're the ones that read a lot of the stuff. They hear a lot of the constituents. They're the ones that get you that meeting that you wanted. Always thank them. Always be gracious with them. They are doing their job, and they're doing a damn good job of it for the most part, because there are a lot of moving parts to being a politician staff member. All right. Keep your meeting under 20 minutes, ideally under 5 to 10. Most people, you will not get more time than that. Sometimes you might get a chatter, and they're going to chat with you a little bit more. Take advantage of it, because you're building a relationship, and you want them to know you as a person, not just as a voter. And that's, again, where the personal story is going to come into play. Follow up with a thank you note, and if the rep wanted more information, make sure you get it to their staff. and you can say, look, the Representative Skidmore wanted more information. Here is what I have. I hope this is useful and that we can count on her support when this bill comes up. All right, next slide, please. Oh. Actually, we're on do's and don'ts, Dan. Sorry, I got behind a slide. All right, golden rules and pro tips. The golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. This is never more important than when you're talking with politicians. Politicians are usually not going to get heated and argue with you, but it depends. You might find one that does. You want to be courteous and respectful. Because the thing is, they can end that meeting at any time. They are giving you their time. Don't come in there guns a-blazing that I'm going to put this person in their place. That's not how politics works. You need to go there with a cogent argument. You need to tell your personal story and how it affects you. And then you let them respond and try to say, this is why it's important to me and why I think you should vote this way. They're not always going to agree with you, but still be courteous and kind. They may say, I can't support this. Say thank you for your time and move on. You've tried. Perfect your pitch. I always like to have a 60-second version. So if I get a legislator and they only, look, I only got a couple of minutes, tell me. So I perfect a 60-second pitch, and we're going to go over that in the personal story exercise. Keep it brief. Don't go onto tangents. I am the worst at this. Politicians have gotten me off on tangents before, and then all of a sudden my time was up. So I didn't get to speak about all the bills I wanted to, only one or two. So be careful, because some politicians do like to talk. They are politicians after all. And you want to keep on track. If you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know, but let me get that information to you and I'll send it to your staff so that you'll have it when it comes time to vote. Make sure you follow up with that. If you're lobbying with a group, make sure that's in your debrief you do for the group, that they want more information on this bill. Be ready for anything. They may send you to staff because they're impressed and they want to get behind this bill, but they want a little bit more information, so the staff will be able to do that. So be ready to talk to more than one person. Never threaten or attack personally. This is politics. This is not the WWF, okay? We are not sitting here spinning soap operas or dramas and casting the Republican politician as the evil villain. We are trying to get people to see our humanity, why these issues are important to us as people, as humans. We are not going to do that by threatening or being rude to people. Always leave a one-page summary. They may not remember you, but they may. They will have that summary though, and they can go from there. It'll have all the facts and figures on it, and they can go from there and make their decision whether to vote with us or against us. If you can, speak at committee hearings. I was able, last time I went to lobby in January, I was able to speak at a committee meeting and tell a personal story about my health care as a minor, because they were talking about taking away rights for minors to privacy about certain aspects of their health care. And I had an issue about that when I was 16 years old. And I told my story at a committee meeting. And those stories are powerful. They get listened to. After the visit, send thank you notes. Fill out any group debriefing forms if you're with a group talking about the meeting, and plan your next step. I also like to do a video or a short post on Instagram with some pictures to say, this is what happened. today in Tallahassee. Lets the politicians know there are people that are doing the work. It lets other people know, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. All right, next slide, please. Oh, actually, stay on do's and don'ts. Okay, the do's. Call ahead for appointments. Don't just show up. Sometimes I've got meetings by showing up, but that's rare, especially in session. They're going to be really, really busy. Be flexible with schedule changes. Ask for a commitment. Will you vote with us? Will you vote against this bill? Ask. And thank everyone. Be courteous. Don'ts. Don't go over 5 or 10 minutes. Don't rely on emotion alone. You have to back it with fact. Emotion is well and good online, but when you are talking to a politician that has to prove while they're voting for something, you want to have facts to back up that emotional story. Don't argue or threaten. Again, be courteous, be polite. Do not get antagonistic with the politician. All right, now we're going to the next slide. The power of story. All right. Now, this is how we bring our emotional, gut-wrenching stories into the mix. I lobbied once with a mother and father and their non-binary child. And that child was 15 years old and was lobbying in Tallahassee because they were afraid of their rights getting taken away. Their story was extraordinarily powerful. We had them talk to every politician. They were our story people because they came as a family to lobby because it was going to affect that child directly. That's powerful. Facts alone rarely move politicians. They're going to need them eventually, but it's not that we are emotional creatures. The emotion is what gets us going. Values plus emotions plus experiences equal action. So you want your core values. This is about, we're talking about the SAVE Act again. This is about the freedom of every U.S. citizen to vote. Emotions. I am very upset by this because millions of women and minorities are going to be disenfranchised because of this act. Experiences. My mom couldn't have a checking account till 1972, but she was allowed to vote. That makes you think. You couldn't have a checking account, but you still had the right to vote. So the SAVE Act is going to take away even that right? What else are they thinking about taking away? A compelling story is one that can be visualized. You can see it. You can see my 70s mom with her hair in a Farrah Fawcett wave, not being able to get a checking account until the year I was born. But she could go 9 months pregnant with me and vote. It evokes emotion, it's felt, and it's remembered. You want to get memorable details in there if you can. So, the framework. First, the story of self. Why this issue matters to you personally. The story of us, how it affects our shared community, how this is going to affect not just me and the people I care about, but all the people in my community and fellow voters. And the story of now, the urgency and the specific act. This is going to be voted on. I need your support today. All right, next slide. All right, so I'm going to give you my 60-second pitch. So this is what I would say if I only had 60 seconds. My name is Karen Matroni, and I am a voter and constituent in Boca Raton, Florida, and Palm Beach County. I am here to speak about the SAVE Act. HR 22 S128. I have never been married or changed my name, but I know that 79% of married women do change their name. My mother could not even have a checking account until the year I was born, but she was allowed to vote freely under her married name with no hoops to jump through. The amount of expensive paperwork required by the SAVE Act just to vote constitutes a poll tax, which is illegal, and will disenfranchise millions of voters, most women and minorities. I am asking that you vote no on the SAVE Act and do not let this harmful legislation pass. Can I count on your no vote? So that was my 60-second pitch. It talked about, like, I've never changed my name, but I'm talking about my mom who did, because that's my personal connection. I don't have a personal one because I don't have this. I have my birth certificate. I have my passport. But people who don't, those are expensive documents to get. So I went with something that was meaningful to me. I came with the bill name and the numbers. Those numbers are real. I looked them up because you can. We have the internet. I explained how it affected me by referencing my mom. I explained how it affected my community. Millions would be disenfranchised from voting. I supported my feelings with real-world data. The 79% of women that changed their name, that's a real statistic. I looked it up. Then I ended with a concrete call to action. Vote no. Do we have your support? All right, next slide, please. All right, let's talk about, we have done our calls, we have written our emails, we have even sent a few faxes through ResistBot. We have gone to our state capitol. We have lobbied in our capital and maybe our local rep's office. We have done the work. Now, let's say we want to up our game. What else can I do? You can create an event. Indivisible did a great series on hosting an event, getting people together to affect concrete change. If you go to the Indivisible website and host, you will see the videos and the ways to host an event to try to change your group of friends or neighbors' ideas and get them politically activated. Another great resource is 5051. It's FIFTY.1/organizer-resources. This is another great place if you want to get your community or your neighborhood or your friend group organized. Indivisible and 5051 are great resources for that. Now, in November, every House seat is up for grabs. There are 34 targeted seats for 2026 that we feel can be flipped from red to blue. I think it's going to be a lot more than that, but these are seeming more likely. I have, if you need the documentation, it's going to be on the website in the PowerPoint and the notes. It's going to be in both. It does not have it on the PowerPoint, it's just in my notes. It is an NBCNews.com article. So it will be in my notes if you want it. If not, and you just want to adopt a house race, look in your own backyard. You know, see who's running. Who is running that's a Democrat that I want to support. Now, the next way you can help is you can volunteer to win races. There are two organizations that try to get blue Democrats elected. One is votesaveamerica.com. Vote Save America's mission is to help build that movement a movement that brings as many Americans as possible together, not just to win on election day, but to fight every day in between for an America that honors basic freedoms, the rule of law, equality, and democracy itself. The other one is activateamerica.vote. Activate America empowers activists to help elect Democrats to the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives. If you are interested in getting involved in a political campaign, these are the places to start. Alrighty. Now, in closing, we have given you the 5 calls app. Calls you can make once a week. Take 5 minutes out of your week. 5 minutes. Number 2, we have the ACLU and their letter writing campaign for different urgent issues that come up. Number 3, we have ResistBot, where you can send emails and faxes to your U.S. Congress people. We have scripts ready to read. You can create your own, or you can go off the 5 calls app. A story framework that actually moves people, the story of self that we talked about, how it affects you, community, and what the call to action is. And a clear roadmap for how to go to your first lobby meeting. You have all the skills you need now to be able to talk to a politician. It's not that hard. They're just people. They really are. And I thoroughly encourage you to meet them in your home district. They all have an office in their home district. They're going to be much less rushed. You're more likely to get more time with them, and you're going to start building that personal relationship. That personal relationship is important because they're going to remember you. I know you've lobbied with Equality Florida. I remember you. I had somebody say that to me, Kelly Skidmore, who's my rep. And I'm like, yes, I did. How you doing? And she remembered. Probably because I'm really loud and I have red hair, but who knows? And build that relationship. Continue on it. And if you are really in support of that politician, give them a check for $50 or $100. It doesn't have to be thousands. Every little bit helps. And if they're running for re-election, they are going to pay attention to donors. So if you can afford to and you agree with their record or their platform, go ahead and give them a campaign contribution. All right, next slide. All right, now, since I always wanted to be a teacher and never got to be, I teach these classes once a month. So now I'm going to be even more like a teacher, and I'm giving you homework. So what I want you to do this month, until our next meeting at the beginning of May, I want you to download 5 calls and make just 1 call. See how easy it is. Just 1 call on the Save Act if you can. Write your 60-second story of self and ask. Pick an issue and practice writing a story. Sign up for 1 group. Equality Florida is what we have here in Florida, but there are equality groups in most every state that focus on LGBTQ plus rights. So sign up for the equality group in your area, the ACLU or Indivisible, and sign up for 1 newsletter. You could make it Lace Up and Learn from Boots on the Ground, but sign up for a newsletter from your senators or your representative, locally, statewide, and federal. Sign up for the newsletters. It won't take you that long. If you go to the politician's website, it's going to be right there. You'll be able to sign right up, and you'll be able to see what's going on or not going on, because my Senator Ashley Moody, I have never got anything unless I send something and they send a form letter. I have never gotten 1 thing from her, but she's temporary anyway. So anyway, that's what I want you to do for homework. Download 5 calls, make a call, write your 60-second story of self and make an ask. Sign up for one group like ACLU, Equality Group in your area, or Indivisible, and sign up for one newsletter. That's it. Next slide, please. You are literally the boots on the ground. Your voice, your story, and your persistence are what change policy. So let's lace up and get to work. Thank you. Okay. So do we have any questions from Zoom? You can put them in the chat. I'll wait a few minutes.
Dan has added the NBC News and Go America and Activate America.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Dan, for putting the links in the chat. I forgot you had this. I could have been having you do that all along. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, I'm going to give it one more minute, and then we're going to end with our Loosen, Loosen that we sing every time.
There's a couple of comments. One from Ricky, who says, I'm new here now, okay? I'm super happy and I'm glad to be here. And Stephanie says,
Glad you're here too.
Stephanie says, this is the class I did not know I needed. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad this is the class you didn't know you needed. It's so simple to talk to politicians. You just needed the little push out the nest.
And Switch Chapter says this was your amazing class. Thank you for all of this. And
Thank you.
we have a question from Daniel.
Okay.
Do you encourage even blue states to lobby and support candidates up for election?
Do I encourage blue states to support candidates up for re-election? Yes, absolutely. Because blue states can go to purple, can go to red. Don't sit on your laurels. Just because you're deep blue doesn't mean you're always going to be deep blue. So building that political muscle where you are lobbying, where you're making your voice heard, it helps keep your state blue. It doesn't stay that way by accident. It stays that way by people getting involved and doing the work. So if you're in a blue state, keep it blue. Do the work. Let your representative or your politicians know you're doing a good job. I like your voting record. Who doesn't love to hear they're doing a good job? Let them know.
And Dan also makes the comment that there are many progressive issues that moderate Democrats don't want to touch, and that they should feel the pressure from their constituents to stay true to the ideals that got them elected.
That is a very good point by Dan, is that there are many moderate Democrats that do not want to touch issues around trans rights and LGBTQ. They see them as too fringe all of a sudden. It is so important for you to push these people because they are listening to pollsters. They need to listen to you, the constituent, not the pollsters that say, oh, these are losing issues. They want to hear, I want you to talk to them immediately because you want to make sure they get more blue than more red. Anything else?
Dan cites Gavin Newsom as an example prior to Trump's inauguration.
Say again?
Dan cites Gavin Newsom as an example prior to Trump's inauguration.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom is a very good example.
And Terry says thank you.
Well, thank you, Terry. I appreciate you being here. All right. Do we have anything else? All right. We're going to end. Last slide, Dan, the loosen slide. I like to end all the classes with this chant. We're going to sing it 3 times, and then we're going to end the class, okay? I like it because sometimes this work can be really heavy. It can sometimes be a lot. So I want us to let go of that and leave this class feeling refreshed, with new knowledge and with new resolve, okay? So we're going to start. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Last time. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.